Brilliant. Okay, we're off. Right. Okay. So now, your GCSE scores were
7 stars, 2 A's.
7 stars, 2 A's, which is excellent. And did you consider that to be about right? A bit more? You did better than you thought you were going to do? A bit worse?
About right, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought 7 stars was. I was slightly surprised at how well you did. I thought, generally you'd looked around about the sort of 4 or 5 A star mark. I think you really pulled out the end. I think it was a fantastic reflection on your ability and also how hard you worked. Now, when you came into the sixth form, you chose the subjects you're interested in, chose subjects that you're good at. What did you think when you started this year, at the start of the sixth, that you might be capable
of? Well, I wasn't really too sure what grade would be the whatever amount of effort, but I guess A in psychology, A in English, so that's internal. B in economics, and then.
And where do you get those numbers from? Just because you
just from past, like my brother and stuff.
Yeah, your brother who did and would have talked to you about geography and economics stuff like that. But obviously, why do you think? Did you think you were capable of an A star, say in psychology?
Well, for A, is that for AS or
for either, for the overall subject?
No, I think A star psychology as a whole. Yeah.
Would be a possibility.
Yeah, for A. Right.
So ideally, what you were hoping to do is you were hoping to get really good grades, but you weren't quite sure what your GCSEs were going to map onto at A level.
Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
But you kind of, if you do 3 subjects, what sounds good? 3 A's, A star and 2 A's.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Okay, fine. Now the thing is quite often when people move from GCSE to A level, they want to do as well as possible. But it's quite difficult when people say, I'd love to get an A, and you kind of think, well, probably you should be aiming for higher than that, an A star.
Yeah.
Or maybe when people say, I'd love to get an A, you think, yeah, but it's probably not going to be that likely. So target setting is really important, trying to match your ability with the grades you can get. What we want you to do, and what you want to do, hopefully, is get the grades that represent the best of your ability. If the best of your ability is 3 Bs, 3 Bs is great. If the best of your ability is 3 As, 3 As is great. If the best of your ability is 3 A stars, 3 A stars is great.
Yeah.
So, what we've got here is we've got some data, and on here are lots and lots of data, and lots of numbers, and some graphs.
Yeah.
Right, if we just take the top, gender, male,
yeah.
date of birth,
yeah.
that doesn't look too tricky.
Okay.
Your average GCSE score is out of 8.
Okay.
8 represents straight A stars.
Yeah.
7 represents straight A's. You've got 7.8 or something, haven't you? Because you've got far more A stars than A's. That's a really good high score. Now, if you look at the graphs down the left-hand side, what the graphs down the left-hand side is taking your GCSE results, which are really high. The graphs down the left-hand side, these ones here, try and give an approximate probability measure is when someone with that GCSE background comes into A level, these are their likely grades in economics, English, geography and psychology.
Yeah.
So what you can see is that your most likely grade in economics is probably going to be an A.
Yeah.
You've got a reasonable chance of an A star in economics, so they say, but you've also got a minuscule chance of a C.
Yeah.
Now they don't know who you are, they don't know whether you had to work really, really hard to get those GCSE results, or maybe whether you could have got 9 A stars. But what they show you is they show you that with those GCSEs, with the knowledge base you've got from GCSE, with the amount you understand about your subjects at that point, that's what was expected. So your most likely grade, if you did all 4, would be A.
Yeah.
Is that about what you expected?
As in what I expected at the start of the year.
Yeah. Well, does that look? I mean, yeah. We're kind of going back, I guess, to the start of the lower sixth. But is that roughly what you think? Does that look about right to you?
Yeah, but I'm not very good at economics.
Right. So your economics is what? Is that maybe a little bit higher than you thought?
Yeah.
So you think having a third of a chance of an A star, you don't think that's particularly realistic?
No.
Do you think if you looked at that at the start of the year, that might have changed your opinion about economics?
If I looked at this?
Yeah, at the start of the year.
Well, no, because I always thought I always thought before starting it that I'd be capable of getting
high grades.
a high grade.
Why do you not think so now then?
Because I have more experience in economics, and it just wasn't really my kind of.
So lack of interest rather than.
No, well, yeah, lack of interest, and then I just wasn't very.
Are you taught by Mr. Tamworth?
No.
Good. Okay. He'll be reading this. So if we look at those grades there, that shows from your GCSE. Obviously, they're kind of pushed towards the right hand side because your GCSEs were so good.
Yeah.
These really tiny percentage chances of getting C's down there.
Yeah.
I don't think you're anything you need to worry about. But what that gives you is it just gives you at the start of the year. You said at the start you sort of thought, well, maybe an A, maybe an A, maybe an A star, but you were kind of just. There was nothing much to back it up from just because that's what you wanted. Does that in any way help looking at what your GCSE scores make it likely? Because actually what that looks like is that A star AA should be within your grasp.
Yeah, it confirms what I thought about the beginning of the year.
Okay, perfect. Right. Now, if we look at the right hand side graphs,
Yeah.
there's two different things that are required to do well. There's a basic ability
Yeah.
and there's hard work. With hard work, you can get so far. With ability, you'll only be able to get so far. You have to marry the two of them together, obviously.
Yeah.
So what you did, do you remember at the start of the year, you sat an online test,
Yeah.
which is called an adaptive test. Do you know what an adaptive test is?
No.
Okay. It adapts to the responses that you give. So if you, they ask you a question, and if you get a question wrong, the next question's easier. And if you get it right, the next question is a bit harder, and if you get it right again. So what it does is it tries to give a good measure of your ability by tailoring the questions to you. Because if all the questions are far too hard, that's pointless, and if all the questions are far too easy, that's pointless. So
Yeah.
the level of the questions changes as you go on.
Mm.
And what it tries to do is, over a series of questions, it tries to get a measure of your raw ability.
Yeah.
Because down here, that was GCSE scores. But those GCSE scores might have been a bit better than your...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean when I say better than your
Yeah.
ability? Or they might have even have been a bit worse. So this is trying to say, well look, not from a base point of how well Angus has done at GCSE, but from a how clever is Angus overall.
Yeah.
And what you can see with these is they're a little bit pushed towards the left, aren't they?
Yeah.
What does that suggest about how well you've done at GCSE?
They've fallen a bit.
Yeah, I think you probably have overperformed by maybe you've got GCSE results which are very close to straight A stars, which puts you in a tiny fraction of percentage in the country, let alone at Oundle.
Yeah.
So these are a little bit more spread out, and what that does tend to show is you probably overperformed a bit at GCSE. Now what it says is, whereas we said over here, your GCSE results show that you're pushing towards AA star. Here, what they show is economics. It's probably more looking like sort of AAB.
Yeah.
Which one of those do you think more accurately represents you?
For economics, they adapted.
Yeah. Whereas actually what you can see with English is actually they're a lot closer, aren't they, the two graphs?
Yeah.
What do you think you're capable of getting in English this year? Or next year?
A star, probably English.
Yeah, so D2 then,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And how about the psychology, which is just depressed a little bit?
Psychology, I'm capable of getting whatever in that A star.
Mm. And what do you think when you look at these predictions? What's your initial feeling when you look at any one of those? Look at that one or that one or that one. I'm putting you on the spot a bit here.
I think they're probably representative of the kind of grades I get if I were to just continue at my average pace. Or continue,
These ones here?
Well, yeah. Well, combined.
Yeah, okay.
So, or continue at the rate at which I was previously going.
Yeah. So these ones maybe represent a slight overperformance at GCSE,
Yeah.
but obviously you'll hope to keep on overperforming,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll presumably hope to overperform even more than you overperformed at GCSE.
Yeah.
If I gave you now 3 grades and said, look, I'll give you 3 Bs, or what you'll get, you wouldn't take 3 Bs.
Yeah.
What grades would you take? If I could offer you grades now, what would you take?
In the 3 I'm continuing with.
Yeah. Forget about economics.
Take some.
Yeah. No. Just if I say I'll offer you 3 Bs, you can say that. If I offer you 3 As, 3 As
3 A's. Yeah.
doesn't get you into Oxbridge, then.
Yeah. Although I'd think probably A star in geography.
I think is this? Do you think? Because obviously we're going back kind of 9 months now.
Yeah.
Do you think this is something that would have been useful at the start of the year to talk about target setting for the year?
Yeah, because it's a little bit of extra data, which is always helpful when you're picking.
But you also understand that obviously
That is.
you're capable of getting
Yeah.
3 Cs or 3 A stars despite this data.
Yeah.
And we don't want to treat you as as just a load of data.
Yeah.
We'll leave that to Barrel. Treat you as an individual. Okay. Any more comments? Comments for the camera?
Not really.
Had you forgotten that was there?
Not particularly. Ish.
Okay.
I was
All
relaxed.
right. Okay. Fine. Well done. Keep on going. What are you going to get this year? I'll cut this one out.
ASs.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't know, but I'm hoping.
Hoping around about the A's.
Hoping A in. Well, actually, A is maximum, isn't it? So A in geography. Economics could go either way.
A geography, A psychology, B economics.
Yeah.
I think we take that. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Angus.